And he's like, I don't know why I want to live anymore. Like, I'm tired of fighting this. Like, this kid grew up, his parents were both meth cooks. They're in jail. They used him as a drug mule. They tried to put him in jail for running drugs, and he was like 12 years old. The attorney's like, are you kidding me? Last thing is relationships. Two types of relationships. And again, you guys see how these are intertwined. Professional relationships, personal relationships. And the way I like to think about relationships when it comes to building our capacity is that whatever stress I'm experiencing right now, someone else has gone through that and conquered it. Someone else has experienced this and had breakthrough. And I'm going to tell you a very, very recent story where I had someone close to me, two people close to me, who were about to enter the ultimate breakdown cycle. This is 3 Mondays ago. I had back-to-back phone calls from agents in my office who said, one of them, the first one opens up with, hey, Steve. I'm like, hey, man, I haven't talked to you like a week. I've called you. Like, where you been? How's everything going? He's like, it's honestly not going very good. I've been talking to my counselor. And actually, I was just on the phone with the hotline. I'm like, the hotline? Oh. He's like, yeah, that hotline. Suicide hotline. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button below so that you know every time I upload a new video so you can be encouraged and equipped to build your best life. I'm like, okay. What's going on? Like, what'd they say? He goes, well, I was talking to them and they said I should call you. I'm like, I don't think I'm trained for this. Okay, let's talk about it. And he talked through a lot of the negative things that he was telling himself. His mental work, his mental habits were not strong. And at this point in time, he needed a relationship. And in this case, happened to be his manager, but I got to be a coach and I got to be a mentor. I got to speak into him life. I got to help him deny the lies that he was, the disappointment and the disillusionment that he thought his greener pasture was no pasture at all at this point in time. And he's doing better. He's made some changes. He's moving. But that was a relationship that he built the ultimate capacity in. I'm telling my wife about this in the car as we're driving to Bible study, and my phone rings again. Another one of my agents calls me. He said, Steve, I just got back from ICU. I've been in the ICU for 3 days. My liver's failing. They diagnosed me with Crohn's disease, and this kid's 20 years old. And he's like, I don't know why I want to live anymore. Like, I'm tired of fighting this. Like, this kid grew up. His parents were both meth cooks. They're in jail. They used him as a drug mule. They tried to put him in jail for running drugs, and he was like 12 years old. The attorney's like, are you kidding me? Grew up to be an Eagle Scout. Kid's brilliant. Just got married, has a young kid, and he wants to be done. He's like, I'm so tired of fighting. My life has been so difficult over and over and over and over again. He's like, and quite frankly, Steve, since I've been here just the last few months and you taught me the capacity model and I read it, like I go through that daily and I'm trying to figure out my education and my habits. Like, how do I increase my capacity to handle these things? I feel like I just keep getting knocked down over and over and over again. And so I thought I'd call you. And fortunately, I had been trained 30 minutes earlier on how to have this conversation. And we went through the same thing again. And we talked about all the lies that he was telling himself and the truth. And it gave him an exercise on write down 3 things that you're thankful for. Write down 3 gifts that you have in your life. And ultimately for him, he didn't know what his vision or purpose was. He thought that he only hurt and harmed people. And so I said, what are 3 things, 3 reasons that you think God put you on this earth, that you could make an impact? Because quite frankly, he may die. He may not get the liver transplant. Like he's in the ICU right now, still 3 weeks later, or again, but in that short period of time. And we talked about his kid, right? Obviously, he didn't have great parents, but he can be there to be a good father for his kid, to help his legacy and his kid build that. Same thing with his spouse. But in that time where education wasn't helping him, he knew all the right things. Education wasn't helping him build his capacity. In that time where the habits that he had in place, he was still maxing out his stress. There's just times in life where we need to have a relationship that will ultimately help us break through the capacity ceiling and the stress that we're feeling and hitting our head on it.